One of the biggest questions I'm getting asked is, who are you following? What are you watching data-wise to see what top producers are doing nationally? Today I'm going to share with you some statistics and some specific people that you should be watching. Although none of us have a crystal ball, we're getting these questions. In reality, our job is to provide our clients, our leads, our sphere of influence, the best information possible for them to make the best decisions for their personal situation. So I get asked a lot, what are you watching? What are the things you're sharing with clients? What do you see top producers all over the country doing? And that's what I want to share with you today. I'm going to start actually with showingtime.com. And what showingtime.com is it is a place that people can look to find out what are the weekly averages for showing requests. This is broken down on a national basis. Also, you can click on your state if you go to showingtime.com, and you'll see exactly what those are. So like this chart is for Florida. And what you can see here is the black line actually indicates the average showing request for 2019. The orange line is actually the showing request for the same time in 2020. One of the things that we'll notice here is that obviously when we began to see the lockdown, sometime between around March 10th, we started seeing everything begin to just fall off. Now, common sense would tell us that when you have less showings, you have less offers, you have less contracts. This is why we're watching this, is if you see this, you can begin to see that it's beginning to hopefully see a bottoming out here. One of the clear indications that the market is turning around is that the second that this turns up and the pattern begins to show an upswing and moving back towards normalcy on the amount of showings, that would indicate that we can almost kind of predict that. At that time, we'll begin to see more offers because of more showings, and then consequently, we'll begin to see more contracts due to showings. This is a great way to kind of stay ahead of the curve and kind of just see, okay, when we begin to see a pattern that you can share with your clients in a way that gives them value and gives them the ability to really kind of see exactly what's out there, what's happening on a real-time basis. The next chart, I was on a call where Steve Harney was with, who's known as the Oracle of Real Estate, Keeping Current Matters. His company is a tremendous resource for agents right now, all the time, but especially right now with all the data and all the information and the infographics they're providing. This is one of theirs. He was on a call with Tom Ferry. He's on there every Friday right now. If you go to Tom Ferry's Facebook page, they go live every Friday with an update on exactly what's going on. But this was one of the charts that I found very interesting. You see, this chart is the major financial institutions that are calling for a V type of recovery. Now, very rarely do we see the top financial institutions come into line where they're almost in agreement. And what Steve Harney said here is that when you see this, you can see the first quarter, they see GDP going down. They see the second quarter, some point now, while we're in the middle of it, bottoming out. And their predictions are, again, these are predictions by those institutions, are that we're going to see a strong rebound in the third quarter going into the fourth quarter this year. Now, again, we don't know exactly what this is going to look like, but it's very rare that we see them get into alignment like this where they almost all three agree right now. Now, they will be adjusting this probably as they get more data, but for now, what they're seeing is they're expecting that we're going to bottom out sometime here in the second quarter. The third and fourth quarter, economically speaking, is going to be very strong. This is a critical time for you to share that this too shall pass with your clients. We don't know when, but we feel pretty confident that right now real estate is going to be one of the leading indicators of coming out of this economic distress we're in right now. The next slide, this was a quote actually that Steve Harney shared on that. As you'll see, he's up here in the top corner. He said that with the exception of the two recessions, the Great Recession from 2007 to 2009 and the Gulf War recession from 1990 to 1991, no other recessions have impacted the U.S. housing market according to Freddie Mac Home Price Index data collected from 1975 to 2018. This is a quote from Doug Bryan, who's the chief economist for the National Association of Home Builders. So one of the things that we want to see with this is that what does this actually look like? In the last basically 45 years, what do these home price changes look like during recessions? Because ultimately, you can look it up as far as what's considered a recession. If you look it up in the dictionary, we're going to be in what's considered a recession. But what does it do to home prices? If we look at this, the last 5 recessions going back to 1975, and this is from CoreLogic, their National Home Price Index. 2018, with the Great Recession, we saw 19.7% pullback. This was kind of the white herring, so to speak. This was the one that really kind of stood out compared to anything we'd ever seen before. 2001, we saw prices actually increase 6.6%. 1991, we saw 1.9% decrease in values on average. 1981, 3.5%, 6.1% in 1980. Now, what does this tell us? This tells us that if we're looking at, historically speaking, what happens in times of recession to home prices, really, if you take this one, obviously, 100-year flood type of event out, we can see that these are pretty steady to see actually a little bit of growth. Now, what's going to happen in this situation? None of us know, but what it does do is it gives us an idea of kind of what to expect going forward. This was something that took a long time to go up, come down, and then recovery. When we're talking about a potential V type of recovery that we saw on the previous slide, that would make sense that we may see a small dip and that we may see going up. Again, no one knows, but these are great statistics to share with your clients to give them an idea of what the past is telling us to hopefully give us a better feel for what the future might look like. Next slide is this. I was on a call with, I'm in a mastermind group with Boomtown CEO, Greer Allen, and what we were talking about, we were on with a number of agents from around the country. Greer was just breaking down the data for us of what Boomtown's seeing. Now, if you're not familiar with Boomtown, Boomtown is, in my opinion, probably the best real estate tool out there. It's the CRM. It's the ones that's used by the top producers. We provide it for all of our agents for free, but most times it's an agent that is doing a lot of business, or it's a team leader that's providing it for his team to be able to effectively communicate with their clientele. What Greer did is he broke down from basically February's numbers compared to March's numbers. And the first thing he did is he said the consumer lead page views. So what is the consumer doing? We're going to see what they're doing, and then we'll see what agents are doing. The views were down 1.7% month over month. Now, this is not out of the norm. I mean, typically you go from month to month. It can vary 1 to 3% on average. So this is not out of the norm. People are still looking at properties online. People are still interested in what's going on, value-wise, what's coming on the market, what's going on. That's the consumer side. Now let's look at what agents are doing. And again, Boomtown, probably the group of agents that are using Boomtown are the best of the best. The agent engagement using their CRM, Boomtown, was down 19.5% month over month. Now, what does this mean? This means that most agents, the best of the best in this group, they were basically leaving and they didn't know what to do, so they were doing nothing. So meanwhile, while the consumer is out here still looking, the agents are shutting down. So this is when we're talking about what does this mean to your business? What does this mean to your ability to add value in a time like now? The biggest thing is to make sure that you're having those conversations, that you're engaged. I use this analogy, and I remember we were hearing about somebody that had been around for a long time, that when we went through 2008, 2009, and that person said this. They said, and this was somebody that had been through a number of downturns, they said, if you will work extra hard during times when everybody else is panicking, you'll add more value and you'll just be present with people. Literally what would take you years to do in your career can be compressed into months. The conversations you have right now, this is the best of the best. 19.5% less engagement with their clients. Imagine what the average agent is. I bet it's below 50%. So this is the time when you have the engagement with your clients, you're going to have more value to be able to add. And really, in reality, now you're going to be able to deepen relationships in a way that we didn't have the ability to do for the last 7, 8 years. It's the opportunity of a lifetime for you to step up and lead and provide information, be the resource, and go through the data that you're having. Find these groups, these mastermind groups like we do for our company, these groups that are sharing data on a daily basis of what's going on. Jump on the calls with Tom Ferry. Jump on and see what Keeping Current Matters is doing. When you get the information and you disperse it out, all of a sudden now your value goes up. These are the times when we add value, they're amplified. I hope this stuff is helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.